Before we begin, let me ask you something. Have you ever witnessed a moment so powerful, so unexpected, that it changed the way people saw someone forever? This is one of those stories. What happened inside that school gym started with laughter, but ended with something no one could have predicted. A voice that silenced the cruel, exposed the truth, and reminded everyone watching what real talent and real strength looks like. If you believe in stories that challenge judgment, that uplift the unheard, and that reveal how greatness can come from the most unlikely places, then hit that like button right now. Subscribe to join our growing community, and make sure you watch till the very end, because what this poor black girl did, after being set up as a joke, will stay with you long after the final note. Now, let's begin. Everyone thought it was just another school assembly. Another boring day in the stuffy old gymnasium, filled with eye rolls, whispered jokes, and forced applause. But when Principal Dawson tapped the mic and called her name, the snickers started. Up next, Amara Wilson, singing a solo piece of her choice. The room tilted. Someone in the back muttered, "Wait, her?" A few kids laughed out loud. And Amara, the poor black girl who always ate lunch alone and wore the same shoes every day, stood up slowly, her eyes glued to the floor. Nobody expected anything from her, except maybe a train wreck. What happened next left the room frozen in awe and changed the entire school forever. Amara's story didn't start on that stage. It started long before the spotlight. She lived on the east side of town, in a neighborhood most people ignored unless there was a crime report. Her mother, Angela, worked 2 jobs, one at the diner, one cleaning offices at night. They barely scraped by. Amara didn't have Wi-Fi at home, or the latest phone, or brand name anything. But what she did have was a voice she kept secret. Not because she was shy, but because the world had taught her to hide anything that made her stand out. At Jefferson High, being poor meant being invisible, unless you were being mocked. Every day Amara walked those halls, clutching her books like armor, dodging the smirks, the whispers. Her clothes were clean, but they were old. Her hair was natural, tied back in a puff, and her backpack was held together with safety pins. Kids asked if her house had rats, if she knew her dad, if her mom was on food stamps. She said nothing, just smiled small and kept walking. But at home, in the tiny room she shared with her younger brother, she sang. Quietly, gently, like the world was listening, even when no one was. Her favorite artist was Whitney Houston. Her mother had a scratched CD from when she was a teenager. Amara would press her ear to the speaker and, "I heard you humming in the bathroom once. You've got a gift. Have you ever thought of performing?" Amara froze. She hadn't known anyone was listening. No, not really." Mrs. Hill smiled. "You should. There's still time to sign up." Word got around fast, and not kindly. People assumed it was a mistake. Some thought she was doing it for attention. Others thought it was a joke. One student, Madison Clark, the queen bee of Jefferson High, even started a rumor that Amara had begged to sing just to get noticed. "She probably thinks this is American Idol," Madison laughed to her friends. "She'll crash and burn, and I can't wait to see it." The night before the assembly, Amara sat at the kitchen table, practicing under her breath while her mom scrubbed dishes. Angela wiped her hands and walked over. "You nervous, baby?" Amara nodded. "What if they laugh?" Angela knelt beside her and cupped her face. "Then let them laugh. But don't you dare silence yourself for people who don't know your worth. God gave you that voice. Use it." That morning, Amara dressed in her best outfit, a simple white blouse and navy skirt her mom had ironed crisp. She tied her shoes carefully, brushed her hair and kissed Malik goodbye. "Knock 'em dead," he grinned, holding up a fist. She bumped it softly, then headed out the door, her heart pounding in her chest. Backstage at the gym, the noise was deafening. Students joked, jeered, clapped lazily. The other performers were surrounded by friends, taking selfies, giggling nervously. Amara stood alone, clutching a crumpled sheet of lyrics in her hand. When her name was called, the auditorium shifted. A couple kids started laughing before she even reached the mic. "Watch this," someone whispered. She looked down at the floor. Her hands shook. Then she closed her eyes. The music started. A soft piano intro to "I Will Always Love You." At first, nothing happened. Then, a sound. Pure. Powerful. Crystal clear. The first few notes floated out like silk, wrapping around the room. The snickering stopped. Heads turned. Jaws dropped. Amara didn't just sing. She soared. Her voice filled every inch of that gym, trembling with emotion, rich with soul. It wasn't just a performance. It was a revelation. Her eyes stayed closed, her body still, but her voice screamed everything she had ever held in. The pain, the loneliness, the hope. Every line hit like a punch to the chest. By the time she reached the high note, the entire gym was silent. You could hear a pin drop. And when she finished, the last note hanging in the air like a prayer, nobody moved. Then, thunderous applause. Not polite, not forced, real, raw, the kind that echoed. Some students were crying. Even teachers were wiping their eyes. Mrs. Hill clapped the hardest, beaming. Madison Clark sat in stunned silence, her face frozen. For the first time, she was invisible. Amara opened her eyes slowly. She wasn't trembling anymore. She smiled, just a little, and walked off the stage, leaving a legacy behind her. That moment became legend at Jefferson High. People talked about it for weeks. The video someone recorded went viral, millions of views. Comments poured in. "Where has this girl been hiding? This voice is a gift from God. She needs a record deal now." Oprah's team reached out. Ellen's producers called the school. Local news stations showed up at Amara's doorstep. Scholarships flooded in. But most importantly, people saw her. Truly saw her. She started getting smiles in the hallway instead of stares, invitations instead of insults. Madison never said another word to her. Because deep down, she knew. The crown had shifted. But Amara didn't let the fame change her. She still walked Malik to school every day, still helped her mom fold laundry, still practiced in that tiny bedroom. Only now, the world was listening. A year later, Amara stood on the stage at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. A real stage. Bright lights, a crowd full of music legends. She looked out, took a breath, and smiled. But this time, she wasn't afraid. Because the girl who once ate lunch alone had become a voice the world couldn't ignore. And it all started the day someone tried to make a joke out of her gift. To this day, people remember that school assembly. Not because of the talent show, not because of the decorations, but because of one girl, one voice, one moment that reminded everyone. Never underestimate the quiet ones, especially when their souls are built of sound. The truth is, every school, every town, every place has an Amara. Someone overlooked, ignored, mocked. But given the chance, they can remind us all of what real greatness looks like. It's not in designer clothes or followers, or who laughs the loudest. It's in courage, it's in showing up, and it's in the quiet power of rising above it all. If this story